Good morning there, fellow Gooners. Happy Good Friday. Who else got a wonderful night's sleep last night and slept like a little baby and woke up with the biggest grin on the face after that game last night? Me. That's who. Yeah, what can I say? Absolutely delighted with that last night. I didn't think... Well, I don't know how to put it, because I thought it was a fabulous performance of absolutely silencing them, but it wasn't a swashbuckling performance, was it? It was just job done, professional, no frills, and I was delighted with that. Although it was, obviously we'd all like to see us go out and win 6-0 every week, but that can't happen. And when it can't happen, you want to see performances like last night. Emery's 50th game, so he's getting man of the match for me. First, I think, what was it? Arsenal manager, most amount of wins in the first 50 games. I mean, look at the list of managers we've had, and absolute legends. Says everything about this guy. Top 4, as it stands at the minute. Europa League semi-final. I mean, this guy is Mr. Europa League, isn't he? People say, oh well, he's in the Europa League for a reason. Bullshit. You can only win what's in front of you with the team you've got, and if he goes and wins the Europa League with the team we've got, build the man a statue already, in my opinion. I've been nothing but impressed with him from the start. I've told you guys at the start of the season I thought this guy was the best we could get in for the project we've got and what we needed, a coach rather than a Wenger who's going to have his fingers in every pie. I honestly, he's doing such an impressive job for me. I love him, and it's definitely his Unai Emirates Red Wormy. Unai Emirates Red Wormy. Absolutely love the man. And like I say, I think it's the same for a lot of people. When you look at the squad he got, and then the signings that have come in since he turned up, and some people say, well, it was Sven, it was this, it was that. The manager still has say in who comes in the club. You can't be naive enough to believe that this guy has no say in who comes in at all. So if you look at the signings that have come in and the work that he's done with average players that we've got in the squad, honestly, he deserves some sort of award, he really does. Beyond impressed with him. And well done, Unai, for getting us into a semi-final again. We just need to go that step further, well, 2 steps further this year. And that would be an absolutely incredible way for him to kick off his tenure, a trophy in his first season. I'd have took Carabao Cup, to be honest. Just anything, just that sign of starting with a win and a trophy. People can belittle. I said it to a Spurs fan the other day. Well, if Poch's so good, why has he never just won a League Cup? Why has he never, just anything? Well, we're not bothered about that. It's a Tin Pot Cup. Yeah, but you don't. That shows how naive you are as a club, that you don't understand the winning mentality you get from winning trophies. Like when people said it about us with the FA Cup, no, it's only the FA Cup. Yeah, but you don't understand that culture of winning it breeds, and that for me shows us just a loser's mentality totally. You should try and win everything you're in, everything, no matter what it is. Even if it's as a kid and it's a race to the post box, you should be trying to win it. So Unai for me gets man of the match for last night to sign off his first 50 games. Absolutely great. Tactical genius for me. The amount of top-notch managers he's out-fought this year is. He's right up there for me. So he gets the big pat on the back for me last night. Let's get into the players. Check in net. Didn't have a ton to do, did he? I've been saying this quite a lot over the last few games. And it shows what we had now: 6 clean sheets out of 7 games, or 7 out of 8. We've let 1 goal in 7 games or something. That is a real full circle from what was happening weeks ago, where we just knew we were going a goal down every game, or we were letting a goal in. That was just common knowledge. It was just a definite. So to do what we're doing, and at this point in the season and the games we've got, Napoli twice, not conceded. Watford away, didn't concede. Impressive. United didn't concede it. Really impressed. And Cech for me, he was just solid last night. His kicking was a lot better, which is my biggest issue with him. And the bits he had to do, he did well. So he gets a solid score for me for last night. My boy Ainsley at right back. I told you guys this kid is the most ready youth player we've got. Forget Nelson and all the rest of it. They're good, but they're not first team quality like this lad is already. And I keep saying I'm disappointed that he's playing at right back, but what a fucking job he's doing there. What an absolute... Honestly, as far as personnel on the pitch go last night, he was up there for man of the match. He was a definite 9 out of 10 last night, and anyone who says different isn't watching the match properly. He's phenomenal. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. His work rate, his energy, and he's getting clever. I noticed it twice last night on replays where stepping out for an offside trap. If he's the last one and he's getting caught as playing everyone on, he's now picking up the sense to step out, so he's learning that role as well. And I've got nothing but applause for the kid this year. And I think if people really think about where people were at the start of the season and where they are at this point of the season for player of the season, he'd be up there. Definitely. You know, we've called on him to do a job that shouldn't be his, and he's just stepped in and he's doing it. You know, replacing Hector or taking his spot for a while, he's probably the biggest fill on the pitch, really. You know, apart from that, I'd say Torreira, or maybe at centre-back if we've not got one of Cos or Socrates, but at right-back with no Hector, we're shot there. Lichi's not good enough, Jenko's not good enough, and, you know, that's being proved by the fact Ainsley's getting picked all the time. And I just love this kid, I honestly... I don't know what more to say about him apart from I just love him, and I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think he's improved 50 times over. He's maturing every game. His displays are mature. He just I absolutely love you, Ainsley. I think you're absolutely class, mate, and I hope you stay at the club for a very long time. And as much as I'd rather see him become a box-to-box midfielder or play a bit further up the pitch, if that's where now he's gone, right, well, it looks like this is where I'm going to get my break, so this is what I'm going to learn to be good at. He's getting an A+ from me, you know, every week. You know, and the one game people will have hammered him on was the back of that Everton performance. Look at the performance he's put in since. Is that a sign of a guy with a weak character? No, it's a sign of an elite mentality. I couldn't stop thinking about him last night after the game, to be honest. I just thought, what an absolute player this kid is. I just love him. I think he's absolutely brilliant. So that's Ainsley. The two boys at centre-back blew me away a bit last night, to be honest. Socrates and Koscielny. Socrates just rock solid, as per usual. That said to you guys, he's just no frills, proper old-school centre-back, smash the arse out of somebody, win the ball back, and then just play it. No fucking around, no arsing about, no trying to nutmeg people or drop the shoulder, just get rid and give it to the people who are good at doing that. And you just stick to being good at what you do. And he was a 9 out of 10 for me last night. He honestly, absolute brick wall, the two of them. Absolute brick wall. He was brilliant. And the one thing, I mentioned it to somebody last night that I noticed about him, you know, the whole Koulibaly bit where he kicked off. You look at that replay, and Koulibaly for Koscielny, Socrates had stood on him, but it wasn't, it was Koscielny. But you look at that replay back, Koulibaly had a little kick at Socrates, and did he flinch? Did he fuck? He just grabbed hold of him as if to say, look mate, chill out, you know, it's only a game, don't get your handbag out, don't spit your dummy out, what's wrong with you? It's football, mate, chill out. I just love that. It must really piss off and rile other players to think, oh, get angry and get sent off, you dick, and he doesn't, and it just, you know, the way he just marshalled people in that situation when he got a bit heated, you know, moving our players, moving their players, being a real peacemaker, I think that's absolutely fabulous. And another big thing that I noticed was when Ainsley cocked up, he just was a bit rash going in for the ball, and he completely lost it, and then they were in down the line. And, you know, lesser quality centre-backs would berate him and, you know, get fucking sort it out, get your shit together, you know. He didn't. He just shouted to Ainsley and went, Ainsley, look, the ball over the top, you're missing it or whatever. Get on there. Here's where you need to be. This is what you need to do. He's coaching the younger players as well, you know. If you look at anything he says in interviews about youth players, he's always nurturing. He's always, you know, he's like a big brother or a dad to the club, you know. And that's a big thing that I said at the start of the season, why he would be an old head, you know, to steady the ship, and it's working beautifully. And I can't wait, you know, he was a bargain for what we got for him, and I think he'll just be as good next year. I think we will just get these same performances from him day in, day out. Next, Koscielny. Wow, absolutely wow. You know, you guys know, it's like I've said, past it's the wrong word, and it's just, we can't rely on him week in, week out because of his injury record. And that's what we've fallen foul of for years. He's trusting players that probably only play a third of the season. But going off the first few games when he came back, he was dreadful, and he was costing us goals left, right, and centre. Since then, he has really bucked up. There's no, don't be wet and admit you were wrong. And I completely wrote him off, and I was wrong, and I'll admit that. So sorry, boss, the old Boshelner. And he's really impressed me over the last 3 or 4 games since he's come back, and what a difference it makes with these two at centre back. We look absolutely rock solid. And last night, just anything that came into the box, it was in. He's just like a salmon upstream, wasn't he? Just above everyone else, bang, header out, throwing his body in the way of everything. That was a proper all-out guts and glory centre-back performance last night, and I honestly, he blew me away with it a little bit. He was another one. It was just wow. It was just wow. That's the Koscielny I remember, and the one that carried us for a few years. Just absolutely fabulous, and I'm a big enough bloke to admit I was right, and he was absolutely class last night. It was absolutely class. And he's got to get a year's extension for me. Let's get rid of Mustafi, and then we've got Socrates, Koscielny, one more. We need one more centre back in my opinion, and then Mavro and Holding, and then I think we are really solid in that position. Like I say, for me the issue is we just can't trust him to be a starter every week, because he will get injured at some point just because of the nature of the way he plays and his injury record. But he'd definitely be someone who should be in the mix as a starter, definitely. And he should get a 1-year extension for me. Just fabulous last night. One of my only down points last night again was Monreal. He just in that back three. He's 4 times I saw it in the first 25 minutes. Just that ball over his shoulder. He's just completely oblivious to it. Again, and it's just frightening because we're looking really solid at the back now. And he's just a weak spot now, and it's a shame. Holding, maybe Mavro might suddenly get fit enough to take that spot, but I just can't trust Nacho there. I can't, and he is one for me that's done. I don't want to see him get an extension. I think we just need to get in somebody else like Tagliafico, who can drop into that back three or play left back, and then when we want a left wing back, we play Kolasinac. I just can't trust him anymore. I can't. I think he's been a decent servant. I don't think he's been incredible for us ever, but he's been decent. He filled a gap when we needed it, and the highlight of his performance last night was he disappeared for a brown carrot, didn't he, or a gorilla's finger for 5 minutes. Whatever the reason was, he disappeared down the tunnel. I'm assuming that's what it was. He had the squits or something. I don't know, some bad penne or something. I don't know, but. That's probably the highlight of his performance last night for me, and that says a lot. He was probably one of the lowest scorers for me last night. It's disappointing again, but I'm not going to go on about it because there was loads of bright spots last night. Let's get to another one. Kolasinac, right, left wing back, another one. He didn't seem to get any credit last night, what I noticed on Twitter later on when people were talking about man of the match. And he was right up there. I think it was just there was so many that performed out the skin last night, but for me he was a definite 9 or 10 out of 10 last night. He was just a total monolith last night. He was an absolute beast from the start to finish. He's someone that's really grown for me, and when we first got him, and I thought, who's this guy we've got on a Bosman here, and then I looked at his stats and his accolades that he got in Germany and stuff. This guy is a real player, guys, and I can't believe there's people hating on him. It blows my mind. All right, he's not a 10 out of 10 defender, but he's definitely a 7 out of 10 defender, and he's a 9 out of 10 going forward wing back. He's class. He's absolutely Kolasinac. Have that one. Someone got up early this morning. No, I'm just absolutely class performance, marching up and down, smashing the arse out of people. He absolutely destroyed Callahan, or whatever his Callahan. He just knocked the stuffing out of that kid after about 20 minutes. You could see it. His head had gone completely, and he owned him down that side. He had him on toast. And for me, between him, Ainsley, and the 2 centre backs last night, all 4 of them were 9 to 10 out of 10s for me last night. They were all absolutely unreal. And I can't wait to see him keep this up and keep playing and just stay fit, because he was fabulous for me. Little Torreira, the little Jack Russell nipping at your heels in midfield. He was solid again. He wasn't his best performance, but he's one that will go under the radar for so many people, that he just does stuff that doesn't get replays and things. He just grinds it out. His reading of the game and his interceptions are absolutely world class. There's no denying that from anybody. I'm just a bit nervous with this groin strain because again he went down with it, and that's 2 games in a row now. And I was surprised that we didn't just pull him for the last 10 minutes. I could see Unai on the sideline telling him, calm down. But he's not the sort of player that can calm down. He's full tilt all the time, isn't he? So I was amazed he didn't just sort of pull him to the side and just say, come on, just stand on the sidelines, chill out, and if they go and score 2, nip back on, because obviously we'd run out of subs. But he just kept plodding around, and I hope that meant it's not too bad, because losing Rambo last night, if we lost Torreira, that really scares the living shit out of me, because I don't trust any of the midfielders. That's just my opinion. And yeah, he was sort of a he was sort of a 7 out of 10 last night. But I just think he's the big linchpin of our team. It makes such a difference when he's there. Even when he's only a 7, that's still somebody else in midfield's 12 out of 10 for me. So yeah, I was happy with him. His midfield partner, Xhaka, I'm not going to go on about him all day, but I felt El Neni did more in 30 minutes than he did in 60, and I find that embarrassing that I even think like that. And it wasn't like I was trying to pick him out for abuse either. I just, people say he sprays the ball around and he played too well. I saw Koulibaly play four balls with his left foot over the top better than he did yesterday, and that's a centre back, guys. Honestly, I would rather play Koulibaly in our centre mid than this guy. I just don't get the love for him. I just don't, and I'm not going to harp on about it, but he's not good enough. He's not good enough. We need, next to Torreira next year, we need a box-to-box midfielder that can actually tackle. And if somebody offered me an Ndombele or a Rabiot, I would snap your arm off and I'll drive Xhaka there. In fact, I'll let him ride me there. Up to him whether it's cocking me or cock out of me, and he's just sat on my back and rides me like a horse round the front room carpet. I'm not bothered, but he's just not up to it for me. He really isn't. And I think the more the squad keeps improving, he's just going to keep moving further and further down until people have no choice but to realise he's not good enough, and that's it for me. I'm not going to keep going on about him. Rambo, gutted. You guys know I don't think he's a legend, although I think he's been decent, but I just think he's decent. I think when he does turn up on his day, he's class, but that's not often enough for me. He's headless chicken, just roams around too much, and that's for me another reason why if we've got a player like him in front, we need somebody solid with positional sense next to Torreira, and Xhaka ain't that man. And I think if Napoli had been at it a bit more last night, we'd have been in trouble with that midfield three. That's just my opinion, and I feel like that every time that's the midfield three. But yeah, I was gutted, absolutely gutted for him. And as although I'm not a huge Ramsey lover, that'll be a real sad way to end his career at the club if he doesn't get another game for us. So we've got to get to the Europa League final to give him a chance to get one last appearance. I mean, maybe we just get a kit on him, and if we're winning with 5 minutes to go, we throw him on crutches or wheel him on in a wheelbarrow. I don't know, but he can't go out like that. He definitely deserves more than that. I'd have loved to have seen him as captain for the Europa League final. I think that'd be fitting, definitely. We know he likes to score goals in big games, so I'm sure he might do the business. But that was sad for me last night. But it made me think of, this is why, as horrible as it sounds, this is probably why the club aren't asked about letting him go. Like Jack, it's just happens too often, doesn't it, guys? This is what I mean. We've got to get away from players that we can't rely on. We need people that we know will make it through 75% of a season without picking up niggles and injuries. And I'm sorry, but Aaron ain't one of them guys, is it? And it's not all down to him. It's not his fault, that injury, he was horrific. Nobody deserves that, but it's just, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. It was the same with Cazorla. I loved him, but it's not sentiment FC. We can't keep keeping on guys because a year ago they were absolutely class. It's not good enough for football. We've got to keep moving as a club. And as sad as it is for a lot of people, we are keeping moving as a club, and Aaron isn't part of it. So it's time to get over it and look at who we might bring in to be part of the club in the future. But I do appreciate that he's giving his everything while he's here. And I said his first few games after it was, he wasn't given the contract, his head had gone and he wasn't interested, but fair play to him for pulling his finger out and being down for the cause, and he does care, clearly. And yeah, that was sad for me last night, real low light in the game. Boys up front, Oba, you guys know I've been on his back a little bit, just saying he hasn't been great. But he has picked it up the last couple of games. He's definitely picking it up. He missed that absolute sitter. I couldn't understand why. he's a world-class finisher and predator, and I couldn't get my head around why he didn't just slot it low in the bottom corner. It was that. I mean, I think that's what I'd have done, and I was a terrible. Well, I wasn't a striker, but I wasn't. I was a good finisher from distance, not from close range, and it confused me that a little bit. He was trying to be too clever, just scooping it over the goalie, and you don't. Would Henri Wright have missed that chance? Not in a million years. They'd have both just pumped it right in the, worm burner right in the bottom corner, and 2-0 game over, and we can all chill out. But I'm not going to hammer him for that, because he does, the amount of chances he does put away and the amount of goals he does score. And I was confused again when Laka went off at the end of the game. But then when I watched over the way, it was just give him the ball or pop it in a corner, watch him get after it, and then he must have won at least 5 clever corners right in the last 10 minutes, definitely. And he Wolby stiffed him a couple of times when he could have just laid him the ball, and he made him chase him a little bit, and he still got corners out of him. So I'm going to give him a decent score for last night, because he's down for the cause, definitely. And although his all-round play doesn't blow my mind away, he's still doing bits. So big credit for me, and I'm happy to watch him and Laka up front together. Laka, what a boy! What a free kick that was. He's took free kicks. I think he's took 2 free kicks and scored them both. I think that cemented him as player of the season for me last night. I've been saying it from day one. He's graft, his work rate, his passion. Just what a player, what an absolute player. And if people don't think he's a world-class centre forward, well, show me one, because I'm confused. Absolute dynamite, absolute bargain of a signing. You look at what people have paid twice as much for nowhere near, probably not on par strikers, never mind twice as good. What is it now? 25 this season. He's been involved in 25 goals. That's an unreal return for his first full season. I just love him. I just absolutely love him, and he is someone who we should be building a team around, definitely. For me, I thought about it last night, and a mate asked me the question: if him and Oba were the same age, who would you keep? And it's a no-brainer for me. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Let me know. But for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Yes, Oba is a more clinical striker. Is he the better all-round player? No. So it depends what you want in your team. But I am a bit of a passion merchant sometimes. The kids love that phrase on Twitter. I just like to see someone that it's obvious they're giving their everything. And with Oba sometimes it's not. Even when he is, maybe it's not obvious. But with Laka, it's always completely obvious. And I think he really loves the club already, and I think he knows we love him. As soon as he came off last night, fair credit to the 900 of you that travelled over there, because his instant reaction, he heard you all chanting him, and he looked over and went, "Cheers, guys." And I think the love is reciprocated. I really do. I think we love him and he loves us, and I hope that stays the case for at least another 3 or 4 years, because I think he's absolute dynamite. And although it was a bit no frills from him last night, I definitely think it was an 8 out of 10 from him. I really do. I don't think he was man of the match, but I think he was in that next bracket of people who played the bollocks off for the cause. Subs, who did we have come on? El Neni did alright. He's just his usual, nobbled about, wins the ball a bit. I'm not going to waste any time on him. Iwobi was a good outlet when he come on. He's nearly creeping back into that, underwhelming me and getting frustrating again. He's a big lad, and he's not lightning quick, but he's got decent pace. I think it's a big off-season for him this year. I think he's really got to go away and tidy it up, because I think he's going to be under a lot more pressure for his position next year. Maybe that's what's made him ease off a little bit this year, I don't know. But he has improved massively. And I think you can tell that, because last year he was getting hounded by people, and I think it had become a bit of a... I think it had become a full-on witch hunt this year if he'd have not turned it up a notch. And maybe I think he knew that. I don't know. I know he is a kid who goes online on social media, so maybe he thought, I've got to pull my finger out a bit, but he's done it. He's still got to scrub things up, but Sterling didn't turn into Sterling overnight. He had that breakthrough season at Liverpool, and then it took him another 2 at City. So maybe this is his Liverpool first season. So maybe next year he goes that next level. Who knows? But I think he's got to do it now. He's 22, 23. He's got 2 more years for me to really take it up that just 1 more, 2 more notches. But I think he can maybe do it. I'm not against him doing it. I'm really not. He's not someone I want to see out the door straight away. I'm more than happy to give him more time. There's other players in the squad that I'd get rid of Welbeck a million times earlier than I'd be getting rid of Iwobi, put it that way. And I'd get rid of Mickey before I'd get rid of Iwobi as well. So yeah, I'm not going to ride him, and I think he was a good outlet for us when we needed it last night. Just helped us kill off 15 minutes. And I think he's been a big player for us this year, whether people want to admit it or not. I think he's been a real big player for us. And you guys who know me, I'm not his biggest fan. But you got to give credit where it's due, and he's done his bit this year. He really has, and he's been one of our better players all season. Like I say, hate him or not, you've got to admit that. You've got to be man enough to admit it. Mickey, I just don't know what to think with him anymore. I mean, he's doing all the right things, but then his final ball or his finishing is gone to shit completely, and I can't really get my head around it. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know with him. I'm so confused by it at the minute. I just don't know what to make of it at all. And he's another one I go down the Mesut line of, this guy. I know we paid him more because we didn't pay a fee for him, but how are we getting a 200 grand a week player out of him? We're not, are we? And that was my first instant thought last night was, how would we get rid of him? I don't think we can we? If he plays hardball and goes, well, I'm on 200 grand a week here, I'm not going to get it elsewhere unless he goes China or something. How do we get him out the door? I don't know. I've not really seen that much of the guy as a bloke. I know he's pretty down to earth, but money's money, innit? Money talks and bullshit walks, as they say. And I just don't know. I definitely think we could do better, especially as a starter. And it's like I've been thinking, for me, next year going forward, I would like to see two genuine wingers if we're playing two up top. And as it stands at this minute, I don't think him or Iwobi are up to it. But I don't see us bringing two wingers in. But maybe Reece can slot in, maybe Saka. That's the most interesting position for me in the window. I'm pretty sure we're going to bring in a centre-back. I'm pretty sure we're going to bring in a left-back. Maybe we'll bring in a backup right-back. I'm pretty sure we'll bring in some form of centre midfielder. Winger, are we going to bring one in, are we not? Who is it going to be? Is it going to be a starter? Is it going to be a back? That's the one position I just don't know about. And the options are limitless at the minute. There's loads of good young lads out there kicking the door down, playing well, with great stats. So, who knows, guys? But, did many people think we'd be in this position now? Hand on heart, think about it. Start of the season, what were your thoughts? Like I say, I'll openly admit my thoughts were, I'd be quite happy with just seeing progress, even if that didn't mean top four and not doing particularly well in the Europa League. Just the squad, the shit getting filtered out, better players coming in, and just progression in that way. And I think we've had way more than that out of Unai and the boys. You look at what Wenger was doing with his squad at the end of last year, and then the signings that have come in under Unai being here, and the difference they've made. I pointed out some of the other day. You go through the signings, the ones most recent to latest, last to come in. You think where it would have been if these, who some of our best players been this year? Leno, Guendouzi, Torreira, Socrates, Laka, Oba. God, how bad was our squad before we signed this lot? Fucking hell, I'm amazed we're still in the Prem, to be honest. Because I don't rate the rest very much, you know what I mean? And I was looking at that team last night and I thought, if you just switch Leno in for Czech and you put in Bellas in for Ainsley, not that Ainsley's doing a bad job, but you put Hector is our first choice, let's get that right. And then you put in a solid centre-back instead of Monreal, and you put in a box-to-box midfielder instead of Xhaka, and obviously Ramsey's going and we get a creative midfielder. That is a fucking strong team. That is a really strong team, and definitely could do damage in the Prem. Our home record this year has been great. It's just been away, hasn't it? We don't really need to do much on the home front. It's just that away, and that's where I think we just need some better players. Ones that will carry us even if they're having an off game. And it's like I say with Monreal, with Xhaka, the players I'm not a fan of. When they don't turn up, they really don't turn up. When they're having an off day, they have a real fucking off day, a real 0 out of 10. And that's how it is for me. And that's why these guys have got to go for me if we want to improve. Like I say, you guys, if you want to be fans of them and tell me I'm a wanker in my opinion, and you're just a fucking mank. If that's how your mind works, fair play to you, but I pity you. And I just think you've lost your ambition somewhere along the way. But I'm not going to start hammering you guys for that. I just think the club's done that to you, that I've said numerous times. I think the club's just sucked the soul out of a lot of us over the last few years. But hey, onwards and upwards. We're flying at the minute. We really are. Another big game coming up. People seem to think we're going to coast these next few games, and I think we've got the probably the hardest running for me. Although we've not got any of the top 4 teams, top 6 teams, top 4 teams, and any big rivals to play. Leicester away is going to be tough. Wolves away is going to be incredibly tough. And the other games, Burnley, I think is going to be. That's probably one of the easier ones, to be fair. But I don't think Leicester. These are going to be tough game, guys, and we're, it's like we were saying the other night about the game, the Watford game, and just the 3 points is all that matters. It's not going to be good enough against these teams because they've got that bit more quality. We're going to have to turn up and perform to get the points that we deserve and the points we need to stay in that top 4. So, come on, boys, let's have it. It's definitely Unai's army. Definitely, I'm fully behind that. Fully behind the boys at the minute. Can't wait for the next game now, and I just want to say thank you for I felt love again for my club last night. I felt passionate towards it again. I haven't felt that for years, and I am someone who had it kicked out of me, definitely. As I told you guys, Liverpool last season, and especially because I was sat with Thierry and he was laughing at me, and I threw my handbag and I kicked my chair over and left at half time. I'd saw my arse and I'd had enough. But this year I've got my faith back, and it's just been building. I know there's been low points this year. It's not all been plain sailing, but I've been feeling my passion and my love coming back again. And last night I did feel like a proud dad on the sideline, just like, that's my boys, that's my boys, that's my boys. Proper proud dad moment, and I love that feeling. I love loving Arsenal. It's been the one thing I've loved all my life, as well as my parents and my sister and my family and stuff, and my dogs. And I felt it again last night, and I absolutely love that. So thank you, boys. That's it, guys. Enough waffling. It's bank holiday weekend. Let's get fucking naked. Let's get fucking naked. Na 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 na. Wait, na 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 na. Hey, let's get mashed. Let's enjoy yourself, whatever it is. I'm off to the lakes to go and see me queen, and have a nice few days with her on the beach with the dogs. So I'm going to enjoy getting this sunshine, guys. Sort your little pasty white British bodies out. Get out there, get a bit of sun on your skin, and enjoy. Stay safe, take care, have fun. Signing out. Come on, Gooners.